We thought we'd go to the park today and just enjoy the sunshine. Twice our video camera has blown over, so this is our third attempt at trying to do a short video. We just wanted to talk a little bit about communication, because as I'm coaching couples, one of the biggest issues couples have, it comes to communication differences. And Alvin and I, today I'm a woman, he's a man, so of course we communicate differently. But one of the things we noticed was we come from totally opposite cultural backgrounds. And some of the things Alvin said when we were first married, I had no idea what he was talking about. So we want to just, he had to school me on a lot of things. And this even happened the other day. Someone made a comment on one of my Facebook posts, and they said, shut your mouth and keep on talking. And I called Alvin right away. I'm like, I don't know what that means. Like, this guy just told me to shut my mouth and keep on talking, and I don't know what he's talking about. So Alvin had to school me in that. So even after all these years of marriage, there's things that come up that I don't know what it means. So,
well, they may not know what shut your mouth.
I'm still.
Half the audience may know, half the audience may not know.
Help us.
Well, shut your mouth and keep on talking means like, okay, what you just said, you preaching good and you stepping on my toes, and I feel convicted by it. But you know what? Since it's such good preaching, just keep on preaching, just keep on talking. So shut your mouth, but keep on talking.
Okay.
So I don't know if that explains it well enough.
It does.
Yeah.
I remember too, when we were first married, Alvin didn't think I could make soul food like mac and cheese. So I did. We were first married. I really wanted to please him. I really wanted to do a good job and cook for him. And I made mac and cheese, and I thought it was fantastic. So we sit down to eat, and what did you say to me?
But now initially, your mac and cheese, the way that you grew up with mac and cheese.
The way I grew up with it.
It was not like my mama made it.
No.
Or like
no, because you said you want to smack your mama. I'm like, I would never smack my mother. What is wrong with you?
I would say stuff like, man, that's so good it makes you want to smack your mama.
Yeah, and I'm like, how could you even talk about your mother like that?
But that's a kiss, a smack, mwah, that kind of a smack, not like bam, that kind of a smack.
So we sat down. I'm serving him a meal. We're newlyweds, and I make this mac and cheese, and he looks at me, he goes, baby, you put your toe in that. And I'm like, no, I didn't. I didn't put my toe in the mac and cheese. And I was like insulted. How could you say I would even put my toe in? That means like it's dirty. Like the mac and cheese is dirty.
Which it really means, that was so good. It has so much flavor that you put your toe in it. Like you put your I taste toenail in this thing. There's some toenail in this. So in other words, it has so much flavor. You put your toe in it. I don't know any other way to explain it. That's just the best way.
So there were a lot of things like that. Another time when I first picked him up, he needed a ride. I gave him a ride in my car, and I'd been saying this phrase for a long time. I mean, don't forget, I worked on the mission field. I didn't watch TV a lot. I was naive in these things. So I went to give him a ride, and there was stuff in my trunk of my car, and he needed to put a piece of luggage in there. So I just opened my trunk and I said, oh, sorry, baby, I have a lot of junk in my trunk. And he just looked at me like, I'd been saying that to my friends for years and no one ever questioned it. So I don't know if you want to say what that means, but you thought, you were shocked I would even say that.
Yeah, I was, because you're very proper, and anyway, so. Well, for those of you who don't know, when you say you have junk in your trunk, that means...
They can Google it.
Yeah, you can junk... Yeah, you can jungle it. You can... I'm nervous to even say it.
Don't say it.
Okay, you can Google what it means in slang when someone says they have junk in their trunk. So when she said it...
So he was surprised I would even talk like that.
Yeah, I was.
So...
But I wasn't disappointed.
But then there were things I'm keeping it moving here. So anyway, then when he came to Canada, there were things where I grew up, if I went through the drive-through at Tim Hortons in the area where I grew up, if I needed more napkins, I would just say, I need more serviettes. Can you give me some more serviettes? So we were at a drive-through, and they didn't give us any napkins. And so I said, Alvin, can you just go around again, baby, and ask for some extra serviettes? And he's like, what did you do?
Well, when I thought of serviettes, I wasn't quite sure what it was, but it sounded very fancy. Instead of asking for, can I have some extra napkins? When she said serviettes, there was an old commercial years ago where the people would say, could you pass the Grey Poupon? And then there was one guy who was sitting at the table who was kind of like not from the same aristocratic standing they were, and he said, what do you say? Could you please pass the mustard or something like that? Because Grey Poupon is mustard. So when you said serviettes, I'm like, hey, I'm not that highbrow. Let's just get some napkins. I know what you were talking about, but I was not about to ask for serviettes, and I was laughing, so I didn't even know how they would hear me if I tried to say serviettes. So.
And in his family too, there were some funny things that were far different from my culture. Like, so he has a cousin, is it? A cousin?
Yeah.
Can I tell about your cousin?
Yeah.
And they called her Fat Cheese. She was really big, and they called her Fat Cheese. And one day, did you ask?
Now the only thing is that you say fat cheese. We said fat cheese.
Okay, sorry. So tell the story about when you asked.
That's
him,
another thing Canadians do. I don't know if it's all Canadians, but they say sorry a lot. Sorry, and they say sorry. And I'm saying, what are you sorry about? So I stopped saying sorry. But then I felt like the things you really should have said sorry about, you didn't say sorry about.
Yeah.
All right.
So then you guys asked her, do you want to, what was her real name?
Well, it was my father that asked her. I don't even remember her first, I don't remember her real name.
If she wanted to be called her first name, and she said, no, I like Fat Cheese.
Yeah, I don't know if my father named
so
her Fat Cheese.
you called me nicknames like Knucklehead and stuff when we were first married. You thought that was very loving. I'm like, why are you calling me Knucklehead? Like you had a lot of nicknames and stuff where it was loving terms, but they weren't so loving to me.
Well, because I had nicknames, I think, for all my kids. And they were kind of like corny little names.
Yeah.
So it was more of I know that Knucklehead is not exactly something you want to tell people that you love.
Not now,
But we also did a lot of laughing. So it's a wind blower. So we did a lot of laughing.
Right.
So I also called you names to try to get a laugh, but I guess I didn't get a really
that
good laugh.
one didn't get as big of a laugh as some of them maybe.
No, it didn't.
So,
It didn't.
but yeah. So anyway, it's very important, like I said, for us to have been able to understand each other's cultural differences and different types of phrases and language that was used, because it's really the heart behind it that we have to know. You meant nothing by it, and I had to learn all these things, and you had to learn a lot about my culture.
Yeah, I did.
And it's so much fun now, though, to look back and laugh at all that, because it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So the sirens are coming. I think they're coming to lock you up.
You know what?
You called me Knucklehead. They're going to arrest you.
No, I think that's because your food on the stove is burning. Hello, what? You didn't put your toe in this one, girl. You didn't put your toe in it. That's why they're coming to get you.
We need to go back to Tim Hortons. I'm out of serviettes. Okay. Anyway, get to know your partner. There's so many different things you need to learn about the communication and the styles of communication. And sometimes we react to things that really aren't worth having a bad reaction to, right?
Can you give 3 tips to better communication? 3 quick tips.
Yeah, get to know how your spouse communicates, because we all come from different backgrounds. I needed to learn that even when you raise your voice a lot, you're not always mad at me.
Right.
And you had to learn that when I'm soft, like I'm not a person to like.
I had to take it down.
You had to take it down a notch.
So she was quiet, and I'm more. It's just like church, going to church. You grew up in church. I mean, you probably had some times of outbursts.
Yeah, we did.
But ours was, the organ was playing loud, the choir sang loud, the preaching was loud. So it didn't mean that we were angry. It's just that we were very passionate, as it were.
Right.
So when we would discuss things, I would discuss things probably at a little bit of a higher decibel.
Yeah,
than we were
and just slow it down.
Yeah.
Slow it down.
Yeah.
And don't use knucklehead when we're in conflict.
So
like,
3
don't
tips.
call me knucklehead.
So one tip is to watch your tone.
Yes.
With each other. Number 2 would be to listen before you speak. Oh, you're the marriage coach, not me. But I've had a lot to learn.
Best. Go ahead. Take it away, baby.
So number
Take
2 is to listen, not to answer, but listen to listen, to understand,
Yes.
and to try to get understanding before you speak.
Yeah. And another thing is body language. So I was reading that 70% of our communication is our body language. 30% is our words, but the rest is our body language. So it's important when you're having communication or conflict with your spouse, just keep an eye on your body language, because it can say a lot. If you're rolling your eyes, if you're crossing your arms, that says a lot. Like, just keep in mind your body language, and it's just really important to watch your spouse's reaction and make sure you're not triggering something in them that you don't want to trigger. Like, and that takes time to learn. Communication, our language together, it's a whole nother language that we've had to learn between each other. Yeah.
And one of the triggers, if I can just say this, I'm not the marriage coach, she is. But I taught her. I'm just kidding. Is when you are
You're
having
such a knucklehead.
when you're my little knucklehead.
You're a knucklehead.
When you're having conflict, don't use you words. Like,
Right.
you always something. You this. Instead use words like I feel like.
Yeah, when this happens, it makes me feel like.
Right.
Not you made me feel like that. When this
Right.
happens, it makes me feel like. So more referring to how you feel,
Right.
rather than accusatory words like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
all.
it.
That's it.
That's it for today.
Yeah, that's it for today.
We're gonna go for a walk and enjoy the sunshine. And
So my lovely wife is an amazing wife, and from the lessons that we've learned, also from the things that you've learned from formal education, gracefulmarriagecoaching.com is alive and well, and it's there to be able to help other couples who may be dealing with different types of things in their relationship, but they want to make it better. If you want to make it better, contact gracefulmarriagecoaching.com.
anyway,
and get more information.
okay. Are you okay, knucklehead?
I was
Here. Have some coffee.
Oh, it's black coffee.
I put my toe in it.
There's no toe in that. Bye.